Horizon Gents, welcome to CG Reaction, and this is What's the Most Dangerous Place on Earth by channel Vsauce. Yeah, another Vsauce video. This is great science channel, obviously 16 plus million subscribers, so they must be doing something right. And they're always peculiar, let's just say. The stance, he takes about certain topics is just great. The way he tackles things are always interesting. Allowed why things are creepy. That video was just awesome. So this is about what's the most dangerous place on Earth. Most dangerous place on Earth, I don't know. Top of Mount Everest, probably. You can't breathe, you'll freeze to death. Under Mariana's Trench, you'll get crushed because of the immense pressure. What other is there? There is a place somewhere in Russia, I don't know, which is constantly on fire. There's a crater which is constantly on fire. Is it Kazakhstan or something like that? I don't know. The point is the place is constantly on fire. So that could be dangerous. There's a mine in USA which exploded and is keep exploding underground. So there is also that. What else? What else? Most dangerous place on Earth. Chernobyl, obviously. That is one of the most dangerous. Massive radiation there. I don't know. Living in India, you'll get run over on the roads since it's one of the most dangerous roads in the world. And no, that's not an exaggeration. Trust me, I drive here. I drive 300 kilometers here and there. That's like what? 180 or something miles. I don't know. So yeah, most of you are thinking, 180, 200 miles, that's nothing. Yeah, drive in India. You'll know what's what. My head is hurting when I'm home. So there is that. I don't know. Let's see what Vsauce says about that. And remember, people, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out what the reaction did. There's a link in the description. Check out the cards for all the playlists. Check out the end cards, I guess. And yeah. And if you see checkered box in this one, it's because this video gets blocked when uploaded. That's why I usually put checkered boxes there. Usually it's not an issue, but some videos of real life lore, Vsauce videos, these videos gets blocked. And also gets blocked in some important countries which my viewers are from, so I need to put checkered boxes there. So yeah, let's watch this one.
Hey Vsauce, Michael here. 93% of all the humans who have ever lived are dead. For every person alive right now, there are 15 people who are no longer alive. The Earth is dangerous, but where is...
Yeah. Most people are dead, probably because their friend pushed them off from the high elevation, like he said in the last video. But yeah, it's what is it, 100 or something billion people that ever lived and are now dead or something like that. Yeah, that is uncanny when you think about it. People who are like, there are ghosts. People, when they die, they become ghosts. If that were the case, there were more ghosts than there are people.
Is the most dangerous place on Earth. Ignoring freak occurrences, where is the most persistently perilous place on the surface of our planet? Well, let's begin with temperature. Extreme heat and extreme cold can kill within hours, if not minutes. In cold environments, without clothing, the human body by itself doesn't do a very good job of maintaining a high enough temperature to live. It just takes too much work, even when you feel comfortable.
Yeah, there's a place, I don't know if it's the hottest, it's probably not the hottest place, but Qatar, I remember watching a bit about that Qatar, where there's going to be a FIFA World Cup, and they said sometimes it gets 52 degrees Celsius there. Now I'm living in India, everybody knows India's hot. But 52 degrees, just thinking about it is just, giving me a headache. Whenever it goes above 14, I'm like, what the hell is this? I have to go inside and sit on AC or something. 52 degrees, how are the people alive there? Damn. I think Death Valley is even more hotter sometimes, I don't know, in USA.
And warm. Nearly half of your daily caloric intake is used merely to keep your body's temperature where it should be. If you took a human and stripped them naked and put them in an environment at 0 degrees Celsius, they would die from having too cold of an internal temperature within about 20 minutes. We need warmth.
But I think they would go in shock much earlier than that. We have a skin, that's a thin skin. It's not fur or something. So yeah, the sudden change of temperature screws us over, obviously. Yeah, that is true, isn't it? I mean, the coldest place, I think, obviously not thinking about Antarctica. I think coldest place where people live is in Russia somewhere. It is ridiculously cold, 30, less than 30 degrees, minus 30, minus 40 or something like that. I don't know. I think it's 40 plus, minus 40 plus. That's heavy, man.
But one thing we need more immediately than that is oxygen. And that brings us to the summit of Mount Everest.
Yeah, there you go.
This place on the surface of Earth has incredibly thin air. At the top of Mount Everest, there is only 1/3 as much breathable oxygen as there is down at sea level. Climbers can endure the conditions for short periods of time if they acclimate for months. But if you were to teleport from wherever you are right now directly to the summit of Everest, you would most likely die within only 2 to 3 minutes because there isn't enough oxygen. Death would come even more quick.
Yeah, I saw the Top Gear episode about the special. I don't know where they started from a jungle and then they went into some volcano that was really high, about 10,000 feet above or something like that. They went there and they were barely breathing, heavy breathing. They couldn't even breathe. Their cars were getting shut off because there is no air there. And that's not even the highest place on the planet. So Mount Everest, people actually go to the Everest, photograph themselves like, look, I'm in front of Mount Everest and just smiling. Man, how are you breathing? Damn, that's heavy. And remember people, when you exercise, I mean, like if you're doing some kind of cardio, you require more oxygen. So if you're climbing a mountain, climbing a peak, you are a climber and you have no oxygen. Obviously there are oxygen tanks, but still it will panic people. You know how people are claustrophobic, in a closed room, they just panic. Me just thinking about like less oxygen, climbing that, constantly needing oxygen tank, that is panicking me just thinking about it. And also there are dead bodies there. People just die and they just leave them there. I mean, what else they're going to do? They can't retrieve it. That is just ridiculous. I mean, already people barely can climb it. How are they going to retrieve dead bodies? So that is just effed up. You climb Mount Everest like I'm doing something. You just see dead bodies around, really, really old dead bodies. That is just creepy even think about it. I don't know why people are so stupid nowadays to climb Mount Everest. And they ask for lots of money just to climb. The Nepal government. So, yeah, I would not do that.
Quickly, if you were at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, there you would be submerged under nearly 7 miles of water, about 11 kilometers,
Yeah.
causing the pressure around your body to exceed 15,000 pounds per square inch. At normal swimming depths, you can always hold your breath. But that far down, with that much pressure, your lungs would collapse immediately. And without oxygen, your brain would go unconscious in 15 seconds and you'd be dead in under 90. You would die pretty much just as quickly as someone who walked into outer space.
Wait a second. If you just suddenly teleport to that low in Mariana Trench, won't you just get crushed completely, not just lungs? I mean, that is immense level of pressure. I mean, somebody took some kind of modified submarine just to see how low they can get. And they didn't even get that low, the deepest part of the Mariana Trench. They just went low enough and their, ship got to start, crack up. Metal ship started to get cracked up. So, I mean, humans would get squeezed, wouldn't they? I don't know, man.
Without a suit on. But falling into a molten lake of lava is probably the most spectacular way to go.
Yeah, it would explode
Contrary to what you
because
see
of
in
water.
many movies, your body wouldn't just burn a little bit and slowly sink as if it were in quicksand.
Yeah.
Instead, there would be a lot of fireworks.
Yeah,
Hot
explosion.
molten lava is liquid rock, 4 times as hot as your oven can ever get. And the human body is mainly made up of water, which when exposed to that kind of heat turns into steam.
Immediately.
Explosively.
Yeah.
There's a fantastic video right here on YouTube where a guy throws a bag of organic material containing a lot of moisture into hot lava. It doesn't just sink in, it causes a miniature eruption. I highly suggest you go watch it. But what if we want to measure danger not by how quickly you would die?
I mean, it's, don't you have, some extremely heat up pan, if you take that and immediately pour water into it, the water splash out. There is a water splash out, steam splash out, and hot water gets sprayed onto you and you get burned. I mean, yeah, water, if you immediately throw water into that level of hot matter, it would explosively it would explode with steam. It would be immediately turned to steam, and that is a immediate explosion. I mean, same thing happen when there are somebody throws bomb somewhere. It suddenly explodes. So there is a pressure there, shock wave there. It's lots of things that you do happen because of some kind of explosion. It's kind of same when you throw water into the molten rock. I mean, in a way, that's similar.
But by the actual total number of fatalities caused, well, for this, we're going to need to get much, much smaller, like microscopic. In 1918, influenza killed nearly 100 million people, which at the time was 3% of the world's entire population. But places where and when the plague has spread rapidly are even scarier. Between 1347 and 1353, a third of everybody in Europe died because of the bubonic plague, an infection caused by Yersinia pestis. It's easy to think of...
If I have seen videos like this where they talk about plagues and things like that just a few years ago, I wouldn't have been so much disturbed as I am right now, since what's going on. And whatever's going on right now is not even that dangerous compared to this. 1 out of 3 died in Europe. And Europe is really dense when you think about it compared to the other places in people. So at that time, 1 out of 3 died. That is immense. I mean, think about every people you can think of. 1 out of 3 will die. So if you like 30 or so people you can think of, 10 of them will die, basically, things like this. So Black Death was just ridiculously dangerous. Imagine some shit like that happened today. I mean, what we are experiencing right now is nothing. That would be horrendous. It would be horror show all around. I mean, I remember what happening right now when it was at peak in, I think, Italy. There were videos of people, in quarantine. They couldn't get out of their house. I mean, quarantine in a way that it's not that you can't just, roam around or anything like that. As soon as you get out of the house, if, police or somebody sees you, you'll be punished or something like that, So you can literally exit your door, and your family member, some sister. I saw a video where a guy was talking about like how his sister was literally dead in the bed. She died, and he just realized that, wait a minute, she had the COVID and now she's dead. No government went there to pick the body up. It was days and the body was still there, and he was filming from them. He can't even get out of the house. So that is just effed up. And imagine something like Black Death happened around this time. How horrendous that would be. Oh God. This is why I think all the science field is improving fine. Biology is one thing that needs to improve. That's a massive need. We need to have some kind of a immunity power over lots of diseases that can come up. Not just cure diseases that we have. Make in a way that our body becomes stronger, so immunity is immensely stronger regardless of what we contract, because you can't predict diseases. Diseases will just come up in the future with any combination. Alright, so yeah, we need a heavy immunity body. Not that to defeat some virus, but make our defenses so strong that regardless of what virus comes, our body will survive. Something like that.
The plague as something from way back in the past, but it is still here. Of course, now we have antibiotics, which can help in most cases, but believe it or not, in America alone, 5 to 15 people still get the plague every year. In terms of total fatalities, however, the plague and influenza are nothing compared to the danger caused by this guy, Plasmodium. It's a microorganism that can get into our blood because of mosquito bites and causes malaria. Across the totality of human history, the number of deaths attributed to malaria is unbelievable. Researchers like Nobel laureate Baruch Blumberg have studied the history of the human genome and human migration and determined that of all the humans who have ever existed, it is likely that half died from malaria.
Yeah,
So in terms of total fatality,
what? All the people that ever existed, half of them died with malaria? You gotta be kidding me. I knew it was high, but not at that level. All of the people that ever existed. Nah, I don't believe that. Come on, really? If all the people ever existed, that would be 90 or 100 billion. What, 40 billion people died because of malaria? Come on, man. Really? Because if that's the case, holy shit, I'm scared of malaria now. I mean, I live in India and look at that. It's red. So basically lots of people dying with malaria. But even though I don't know anyone in my entire life who died of malaria, but apparently it is heavy. It's heavy here, it's heavy in the probably Middle East, heavy in the Africa, South Americas, yeah, Indonesia and all these Asianic countries, somewhat China but not much. So yeah, but damn, really, I mean, it makes sense since that raid is India and India's population is high. So, you know, lots of people died in India, that accumulates also in Africa, I guess Africa. So yeah. Damn, that is heavy, but all the people who ever existed, half of them died. Damn.
Fatalities across all of human history, a place where plasmodium could enter the bloodstream because of a mosquito bite, statistically speaking, could be called the most dangerous place on Earth. But let's switch gears for a moment and talk about places that are dangerous not because of Earth or Earth's creatures, well, actually just one specific creature.
Humans.
Us. La Orilla is a mining town in Peru where the murder rate is low but pollution is high. The town's smelter emits pollution into the air, and temperature inversions in the atmosphere above the town trap gases within, causing the town to have 85 times more arsenic in its air than is deemed safe. But that's nothing compared to Lake Karachay in Russia. It was named the most polluted spot on Earth by the World Watch Institute on Nuclear Waste. The lake contains so many radioactive pollutants that you can receive a lethal dose of radiation merely by standing for 1 hour near certain parts of the lake.
Damn.
The Global Peace Index ranks countries.
That is literally Fallout there, huh? Fallout should make a game there and create some really deadly, you know, enemies like the deadly death claws and something from there. It's basically glowing sea there.
By how safe they are. It takes into account a number of factors, including crime and political corruption. The safest country, according to the index, is Iceland, and the least safe is...
Huh? Russia is worse than India? I don't know how that's possible. An entire Russia. I mean, is it true? I mean, Russia is more dangerous than India? Come on. I mean, yeah, in India, weapons are not common. I mean, you know, I have never seen real weapon in real life. Me, my friend, nobody that I have ever met has ever seen a real weapon somewhere. There are really small, remote areas in the country where there is an issue of crime with guns. And even that, when it rises, government usually takes care of it. I mean, you know, regardless of what people think, Indian government is not weak. I mean, when something happens, they try to do it peacefully, so it doesn't look like, you know, government is being forceful. But when shit gets out of hand, there are, you know, lots of paramilitaries and things like that that, you know, keep the peace, I guess. So yeah, in a sense, that makes sense. So yeah, China's more safe, sure. When government is your biggest enemy, yeah, it makes sense. I mean, what are people going to do when government like shut the fuck up and going home? So it makes sense. Russia is more dangerous. That is surprising. Look at the yellow country. USA is not yellow. I mean, yeah, because of the shootings and things like that. Canada and Europe, most of it is yellow. France is not. It's more darker shade of yellow. All right. What is the yellow country in Africa? What country is this? This is South Africa. So what is this? Huh.
Somalia. But for the
Yeah,
highest
some of the
murder
pirates.
rate, you'll have to go to Juarez, Mexico, where out of every 1 million inhabitants, each year 1,477 of them are murdered. I've always found it amazing just how many serial killers Miami seems to have on the show Dexter. But
Yeah.
Miami is a big city, and so despite all those serial killers, its murder rate in the show is not the highest of any fictional town from a TV show.
Yeah, I mean, I watched the Dexter series long ago, entire series. It was fun. The show is fun, but it was ridiculous how just serial killer just shows up. Like, man, damn, like, it looked like entire continent serial killer just crammed into Miami, I guess. So it does start to become like, man, just chill out with the serial killers.
That honor goes to Cabot Cove, the town where Murder, She Wrote occurred. An analysis of Murder, She Wrote episodes revealed 274 murders, but a population in the town of only 3,500, making Cabot Cove's murder rate 1,490 per million inhabitants. Until recently, that number was unmatched by reality. But last year, the city of San Pedro Sula in Honduras reported a murder rate of 1,588 murders per million inhabitants.
Honduras is always in the news, like how dangerous it is because of all the cartels, and it's ridiculous, man. There are some website, and I'm not talking about darknet, just your clear net, your normal everyday internet, but even there some photos are put on some forums. Let's just say if you see that, you're fucked for months because that image will not leave your head. I mean, cartels are just effed up, man.
Let's conclude by revisiting pollution, specifically the Chernobyl accident, and a certain oxymoronic danger. For 10 days in 1986, radioactive isotopes spilled out of a blazing reactor core, forcing mass evacuations. It's more than 25 years later
those
now,
buildings.
and many parts of the exclusion zone remain.
I'm pausing this video out too much, but look at this. I have to look at those buildings, man. I remember watching these buildings in the game Call of Duty Modern Warfare, also in Stalker, and just it's I don't know, something about it is really, really striking and creepy, just watching empty roads, empty buildings, and there are tons of it. Look at that. There's also that playground that is mostly covered in vines and things. That is also immensely creepy. Look at the plant in the distance. Oh, I mean, Stalker game was just perfect. I mean, if some region, some area is just perfect for game setting, is this. So look at the plant, the building. Oh, that infamous chimney there.
More than 25 years later now, and many parts of the exclusion zone remain incredibly lethal. But without humans there, many parts of the exclusion zone have seen wildlife flourish, especially endangered species, which can go to the exclusion zone, live, reproduce, and be safe from us. We managed to ruin a place to the point at which it endangered our lives, and we had.
Wait a minute, we can go to those areas. How can animals can do it? I mean, do they have higher resistance to radiation?
To leave, and in doing so, we left parts of it a little bit safer for other forms of life. You can read more about all of these topics by following links down in the description below. Keep learning, and as always, thanks for watching.
Yeah, it is ridiculous to see how humans are the reason lots of species are going extinct, especially when talking about small species like birds and things. I mean, their habitats are getting ruined because we want resources. So yeah, it is striking to see that how humans are the reason while there are animal life thriving in Chernobyl of all places. That is just heavy. Damn, also that image of that polar bear on sheet of ice floating in sea. There should be a photo of animals in Chernobyl just like that floating around in the internet, telling that how people are the reason like lots of life is going extinct, I guess. Yeah, this was a good video, man. Vsauce is really great channel. I'm gonna be honest, I think I heard about Vsauce in the past. I never watched Vsauce video for whatever reasons. There was never a moment I'm like, let's watch it. I don't know why. Or maybe YouTube never recommended to me or something. I don't know. I never clicked on the one video. But somebody said in the comment, like, react to Vsauce video, and I kind of knew the channel's name. So I'm like, what the hell? Then I'm watching it. These are incredible videos, man. I should have watched this long time ago. This video was from 2013. It's been what, 8 years by now? So yeah. Alright people, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out other reaction. There's a link in the description. Check out the cards for all the playlists, like Internet Historian, Salmonella, SCP, Unbiased History, Waido, Hattie, things like that. And yeah, I'll see you next time.